Hey everybody, welcome. We are playing Age of Sigmar today, and we are playing, it is me, Larry, and Matt.
Hey.
And as always, keeping everything running is Jen behind the camera, and we are going to be playing Age of Sigmar for you today. We have two 1970-point armies. What are you playing, Matt?
I will be playing the Daughters of Khaine.
Ooh, scary. And I am playing Blades of Khorne, so it is going to be all blood all the time.
Go snakes.
Alright, so we have, put these down real quick.
Sure.
I'm going to go over our armies really quickly. Let's take a look at our board. Alrighty, so
what do you got, Larry?
I will go over my Blades of Khorne first. I have over here a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury. I have a unit of 6 Blood Crushers, a big, huge, giant 40-person unit of Blood Reavers. I have a Blood Secrator over here sitting next to him. He's going to buff them. I have a Slaughter Priest. He's hiding. Where is he? He's right there. Slaughter Priest. And then I have 2 Cannons of Khorne. And I have a big 20. I have a unit of 20 Bloodletters with a Herald of Khorne over here. And then way over on my right flank, I have another unit of 20 Bloodletters with another Herald of Khorne. And that is my entire army, and it is on the table.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have, Matt?
So I have Morathai in her small form.
All right.
I have 2 squads of Dark Shards, a 20 and a 10.
Right.
I have 2 squads of Witch Elves.
Nice.
I got 20 Dark Spears.
Uh-huh.
And then I have my Cauldron of Blood with a Slaughter Queen.
Yes. Okay.
I have a Hag Queen here. What else do I have? Oh, I got my Drake Knights, as well as my Blood Seekers, and then hanging out in the skies, I have my Harpies.
Yes. 5.
I have 5 Harpies, yes.
All right. So you are. You have the smaller number.
You do.
I have the smaller number.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to. I think I'm actually going to let you go first.
Sure. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Also, right now, let's talk about our mission.
Mm-hmm.
We are playing
Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth. So that is from the General's Handbook. That is one of our match play missions. We have 6 objectives. 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6.
And the way these work is these are scored at the end of every player turn, and if whoever has the large number of models within 3 inches of any of those 6 objectives gets it, that scores 1 point. And if you get an objective that is one of the 3 that's on your opponent's side, you have the choice of either just taking it for the 1 point, or you can burn it, which will give you D3 victory points, and then it is removed from play immediately as you torch, as you
burn it and then salt the earth.
That is correct. And then at the end of 5 turns, whoever has the most gets it. And that is what we're playing, and we are
ready to go.
It's to you.
All right.
All right. We'll
Sounds
be
good.
right back at the top of turn 1.
During my first turn, I knew I didn't want to move up too aggressively because I figured the Khorne army is probably going to be doing most of the aggressing.
I will.
So I stayed back pretty far. I didn't want to move up too heavily. So let's go over what I did during my turn. So as you can see, I didn't move up a whole lot. I moved my Dark Spears up here, mainly because I want them to be the first casualties, I guess we'll say, to the advancing Khorne hordes. So I made sure to move up my Heart Seekers and my Dragon Knights to secure those objectives. And then I moved my Cauldron of Blood up onto this middle objective, knowing that for the most part it's just going to sit there, and I'm going to use that aura that it gives because I want that to be very central. So for the most part, this is probably not going to move a whole lot. During my shooting and magic, I managed to kill 3 of the Blood Reavers.
These guys, they're dead.
They're out of there through Arcane Bolt and some Heartseeker shots. And that was my turn. Not a hugely exciting turn, but not every turn has to be. So that was it for me. Now we'll move into the bottom of one Ferrari.
Everybody, it is bottom of one. It is all Khorne all the time. I'm moving forward as fast as I can. Is what I'm trying to do. This is just a race. These guys, I have little to no shooting outside of my 2 skull cannons, and he has a gazillion crossbows. So I'm terrified of that. So I just need to get into combat. I think if I can make it there, this is going to be, you know, a classic assault army versus more shooting-ish army. He is still a decent assault army. I gotta make it across the open ground before he just guns down all of my blood reavers wearing pants. So let's move on over and I'll show you exactly what I did. Alrighty, so over here, as you can see, the cannons of Khorne, they're in my center, they're holding steady. Everything has moved up to get on top of all 3 objectives. So I have Bloodletters over here running up with their Herald fast. Over here, I have my Blood Secretor. He has moved up. I want to keep him near all of my Blood Reavers, but I want to keep him out of line of sight, because if I lose him, it's going to be bad, because he's going to make all of them super angry. My second line of my Bloodletters are all back here. I have my Herald over here, and way over here on my left flank, I'm just going for it. So everything is just running. So here is the my Bloodthirster. I'm going to get him up here. Next turn, we'll see how far forward I can get him. And then, of course, I have my big, giant, all of my Blood Crushers are coming through the forests. My Cannons of Khorne did a little bit of shooting. My army's not the greatest at it. I did everything I could, and I killed 3 Dark Spears. So
out of there.
They're out of there, but I did get all 3 of the objectives. So right now, it's 3-3, and that's where we are. And we're going to be headed into round 2, and we'll see who goes first.
I got the initiative on round 2, which is great.
He did.
Because the middle of the board was very contested, so that worked out in my favor. We'll get to that in a second. But I really wanted to, like I said, use that initiative to make the initial assault, and I think I got that pretty well in a couple ways, but I didn't quite do as much damage as I wanted. So, you'll notice, if we take a look at our overhead here, that I landed down my Heartrenders on my left flank to try to take out this Blood Secretor.
Blood Secretor.
Blood Secretor.
He secretes the blood. He doesn't secrete the blood. It's different.
Well, he did a little bit of both. When I got in with some of my javelins, thanks to my Death from Above ability, I got to add to my Rend bonus.
Yep.
Rend penalty.
Put 2 wounds on my things. Didn't kill him, but messed him up.
I was hoping for a real lucky shot. Didn't quite work out for me. My Dark Spears pushed up real aggressive, and they got their charge off. And managed to kill about a dozen of them.
Yeah.
Which was real nice.
My Blood Reavers are very sad. They should not go into combat wearing pants.
Maybe not. Other than that, I got Morthai up fighting some of those.
Well, Morthai is now in her super mode.
She got real angry, decided that she was sick of all this Khorne going on, so she decided to do something about it herself. Got into her Shadow Queen form and took out 2 of those Blood Crushers.
Yep.
Very nice. Other than that, scored another 3 points by holding down my objectives, pushing up pretty hard, hoping to clear out some of this Khorne stuff. But other than that, that was about it for me.
All right, guys, bottom of 2. This was I have made contact finally. I am kind of pleased with the results overall. The big thing that happened this turn is everything is moving up. I've reached midfield. A couple of my units have gone way past midfield. We got some super crazy. I mean, there was a little bit of shooting, not too much as usual, but the assaults were crazy. And let's go over here and I'm going to tell you what was going on. So, first thing was, as you can see, everybody over here moved up. I'm trying to sit on all of my 3 objectives, which I did. So I got 3 more points. So we're at 6-6. Over here, we're going to go over assaults overall. Morthai over here on the left. I put more wounds on her.
Still only 3 a turn.
Only 3, and then I lost another Blood Crusher in return. So that's just going swimmingly. That's great over here in the center of the board. Really, really happy with this.
A little more in your favor.
Exactly. We had all kinds of cool buffs and bonus attacks. All the Blood Reavers moved up. I did lose a few of them. I lost about half a dozen, and in exchange, we wiped out all the Dark Spears.
Rip.
Adios. So they're gone. Everyone over here moved up. Over on my right, both glory and disaster in equal measure. We had my herald moved up, got into combat with the pesky harpies, and then completely whiffed, so he did nothing. And then over here, but not to worry, I have a giant squad of 20 bloodletters who rolled a 2 on their charge. So they did nothing. Over here, and then, but we've saved last but certainly not least, you will notice something looks odd about this board. So I did my big, huge super move. I have moved my Bloodthirster, moved up from here to the hill. I rolled super high, I think it was an 11 on my charge, and I charged the Cauldron of Blood from the back. And I put 11 wounds on it.
11.
It has 2 wounds left, and that, however, is a that's a Cauldron of Blood with a slaughter queen.
Yeah.
And the Avatar successfully activated this turn, and it turns out that a slaughter queen and the Avatar statue on top when he's alive is super deadly, and they one-shotted my Bloodthirster, which is why he's over. So he's dead.
Because I am a true believer.
Yes.
I have the true believer trait.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
So my blood right is ranked as 1 turn higher.
So
my Avatar of Khaine activated at turn 2 automatically
instead of turn 3 when he normally does. And
that's all it takes.
He just cut me. It was bad, but it's almost dead. It has 2 wounds left. I don't like this thing, and I'm going to try to kill it next turn. But that is where we are at the bottom of 2.
So we'll move into 3 and see who gets the initiative.
Who gets to go first? I hope it's going to be me. For Khorne. Of course, I did win the initiative, so I like going twice in a row. How'd you feel about that?
I think it actually was real important. I think that gave you a big advantage coming into this round.
So let me move over here, and I'll show you how things were going. Had some pretty good successes in a couple areas that were kind of overall, moving-wise, we have the Blood Warriors have moved up. You'll see I have this amazing conga line that I have built. I'm very happy about that. And then we got the remaining Blood Reavers into combat with both the Cauldron of Blood, which was right there. It's right there. And then some of the Dark Shards. They weren't that good.
4 of them.
Yeah, I killed 4 of them. It wasn't the greatest. Over here in the center, my second line of reserves, the Herald and the Blood Letters have all moved up. I now had to move my Cannons of Khorne moved up because I need to take this objective, and it was now that everyone moved up, it was out in the open, so we've moved them up. Over here, we have the now 1 less. This is like a meat grinder. So Marathi, she's half dead.
Yeah.
I've put 6 wounds on her. I am proud of that. At the same time, that was a full unit of 6 Blood Crushers. There's now only 2, and
not many things could stand up to a full unit of Blood Crushers.
Yeah, I'm not.
She can.
Yeah, she can. So, wisdom of the wisdom there. So, and then over here on my far right, we have moved up. I did not roll Snake Eyes again, so the Blood Letters did make it up, and this time we rolled very well, and we have completely removed the Harpies. Right. So this hill is now mine, and I am very much hoping that I'm going to be able to really, this objective over here, that's the one I want. I'm working my way towards it. I think I have a pretty good shot of doing it. And but definitely the standout of this turn was getting rid of the cauldron, because that thing was just too mean, too nasty. Anything that one shots a Bloodthirster needs to go away. So I'm happy with that. And now it goes back to Matt.
Yeah. Hopefully I can make something happen.
All right, Daughters of Khaine, bring it.
I will. Bottom of 3 was a little give and take. I was worried that I was going to start being aggressed against a little harder. Over-aggressed. Fortunately,
that's what we call it in Khorne.
Fortunately, my right flank turned in my favor, and my left flank not so much. So let's take a look. Over here, Morathai managed to completely wipe out those Blood Crushers. Gone, nothing, nada. She's still fine. She took 2 wounds this turn.
Yep.
So
Total of 8.
Total of 8. So
So
still holding fine.
So I did 8 wounds to her across 4 assault phase, 4 combat phases, and lost all 6 blood crushers.
Yeah.
She's a monster.
Pretty good for me.
She's a monster.
So also on top of that, my dark shards, point blank shot, repeater crossbows to the face is definitely enough to take out a bunch of blood reavers
and wipe them and whip
absolutely
morale,
whip them.
and they're gone.
Yeah.
There were probably 20. Died.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Also, what worked out well for me is, so I had my witch elves, which had twin blades, as well as their ferocious fury ability, whatever it's called. And then they also got the witch's brew from my hag witch.
Your hag queen.
Hag queen, thank you. So they were all juiced up and ready to go. They charged in, completely wiped out the Bloodletter Herald, as well as
about 7 of them.
7 Bloodletters.
It was not good. And almost no, that's like 6 witches did that.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Because I did have them stringed out to get their bonus
from the hag,
from being within range of a Daughters of Khaine hero.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
it was rough.
The attack bat did wipe them all out, so they are gone.
But then it was my turn.
That's
to
how
activate
it goes.
a unit, and over on Matt's left flank, not so good.
Yeah. Also, didn't do as much as I was really hoping. I still have 4 witches left, but not enough to really hold this flank. I think I'm gonna lose this one pretty quickly.
I lost 3 bloodletters in that combat.
Yeah, it was not great for me. I still have my Drakes. My Drake Knights did not get in yet. So hopefully I'll be able to push them back a little harder.
That was with a 2 on your charge.
Right.
So they failed.
But with the amount of casualties I've done, as well as Morthai finally being free to roam as she pleases, I think I'm in a much better spot than I was before. But that was my turn. And excited to move into round 4 and see who gets that initiative.
Yep, I hope it's me.
Yeah, no, I need to go first. I really need to go first, but we'll see.
And I have won the initiative. Khorne, fortune favors the bold. Alright, so I did 2 things. This was the turn of Frenzy. Not just one type of Frenzy, but 2 types of Frenzies. So first of all, we made it into turn 4. A whole bunch of units had died. And I traded in 5 of my Blood Tithe points right at the start to use... I used Apoplectic Frenzy, which let this unit of Bloodletters basically activate and get in a free round of assault that I used to clean up the witches and basically start to sweep forward towards this objective. And then I used a cool combo between that and then my Slaughter Priest, who's over here, he used... Let me read it real quick.
One of his prayers.
He used Killing Frenzy as his prayer, so we had Apoplectic Frenzy combined with Killing Frenzy meant that this unit was just had bonkers rolling. It was +1 on all their rolls and extra attacks and all kinds of cool stuff. So let's move over here and I will show you where things went and how it all went down. So first of all, over here things went swimmingly. So we managed to use through my super combo these guys. They are still sitting on this objective, so I got this objective, and then this cannon of corn had to run over here to grab that one because it was high and dry after all the blood reavers died last turn.
Yeah.
So I got all 3, so I'm at 12, and over here all of this crazy combo frenzying combined to get rid of the witches who were left, and I got my herald into combat with the Drake Spawn Knights. And we, through all kinds of crazy combos, I think I got 8 mortal wounds off.
Because you're going to be triggering on a 5.
On 5s and 6s.
Because of the +1 to hit.
Which is great. So
brutal.
So we didn't quite wipe them out, but you'll see there's 1 left. I'm hoping that during Matt's turn I should be able to wipe that guy, and that is going to let me get that objective. And then in the center, we did have 1... There you go. Yep. The reason I had not, this glamorous witch sacrificed herself, she survived from last turn, and because of that, my center stayed put. So all of my bloodletters here that were supposed to go rampaging right on in there, they instead had to sit there and kill her. So
And thanks to the witch's brew, she did not run away from battle shock.
Exactly. She was like, everyone's dead. I don't care because I drank the witch's brew. So overall, that's where I am. It's 12. It's top of 4, and I have all 3 objectives. The problem, of course, is that I think I'm going to be able to take that one, and I'm pretty confident about that. But super scary snake lady is there, and I'm gonna. We'll see. My Can of Corn's gonna totally kill her. It's gonna kill her in close combat. I can feel it. On to you, Matt.
Sure. On my turn, I lost... Or on Larry's turn, I'm sorry. I lost this objective. My Drakespawn Knight, unfortunately, fell to a Herald. So I needed to make sure that I swooped in on my right flank to secure objective and maintain that balance.
Sure.
And it's interesting how it ended up happening. When I pushed up with Morthai over here, I got in on this skull cannon and managed to wipe it out pretty quickly.
you just wiped it. You used magic, and even though you're beat up, that spear is just death.
That tail and that spear.
Just flat 3 damage a piece. Ugh.
Yeah.
And the skull cannon is no more. It's dead.
Gives me that objective.
Yep.
My Dark Shards didn't move, just shot up some of those blood letters. My Heart Seekers also hanging back. No real reason to do anything. Objectives are what matters, and they're could be taking some shots, but I'd rather just keep them out of sight of the skull cannon.
Then way over there, he's dead.
My Hag Queen got in, did a lot of damage.
You killed 5 blood letters. She was nasty.
Unfortunately, your combo with the fury and the frenzy and the fighting is all still going on.
Yep.
So she died to mortal wounds.
Yep.
Didn't even need to make any saves. Nothing I could do about it. I still get my 6+ to ignore wounds, but didn't manage to get any of those.
Yep.
So both Drakespawn Knight and my Hag Queen are out of the battle. At the end of my turn, because I knew we were coming down to the wire, I wanted to take the advantage while I had it to defile, despoil, burn,
pillage.
salvage, scrap, pillage that objective.
Yep.
And I managed to score 3 points off of that, bringing me up a total of 14.
Right.
And that objective's gone.
Yeah, and it's now gone, but he rolled max, so 3.
So that is real clutch for me.
So it's now bottom of 4, 14 to 12, and I think I don't have. So we're going to be headed into 5. I don't know who's going to go first.
It's going to be close.
But it's going to be rough because I don't have any. Well, I mean, this objective's gone, and I don't really have. And that's Morthai, so I can't go that way.
She's beaten up. She's beaten
up, but yeah, she was real beaten up when she just one-shotted that skull cannon.
Yeah.
So, Morthai being real beaten up is like, oh, my Rolls Royce has a few dents in it. How much do you think it's worth? She's still really scary.
I think it is really going to boil down to who gets the initiative in round 5.
Yeah, and I think that if given a choice, I'm just going to have to go for Gusto. I'm going to have to try to despoil that one and just hope for it and see what happens.
I think so.
I won the initiative.
Doesn't matter.
Again, I'm really trying to put a positive spin on this. See, I won the initiative like 3 turns in a row.
Yeah.
So that means I'm the winner, right?
That was real frustrating, actually.
Okay, so here's how it went down. So on top of turn 5, I moved everything back because I was worried that Matt was just going to just try to dark shard, shoot me off of objectives. I'm pretty low on manpower. Morthai's over there, and there's not an objective over there. So I'm just I have no left flank anymore. So everyone pulled back. So this objective is mine. Everyone pulled back. This objective is mine. Most importantly, my Herald, he's right here, and I had to go for it. I had to go for broke. I despoiled it. It's D3 victory points for me, and then it's removed from play, and I rolled a 1.
Wow.
So that gives me 1, 2, 3, and that took me up to 16. That took me up to 15. And then at that point, my turn was done. And then at that point, it goes right over to Matt.
Right in me, and I immediately end my turn, scoring 1, 2, bringing me up to 16.
And that was a crazy game.
That was incredibly close.
Yeah. So, really cool game. Once again, Daughters of Khaine,
They're brutal.
I am afraid. I
Yeah.
am afraid of Morathi. I mean, when you see one unit and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna throw I'm gonna throw up a Bloodthirster and 6 blood crushers against it, and there's not many units in the game that are just gonna say, you know what, six blood crushers, yeah, I'll charge that, and then just kill them all and lose 8 wounds or 6. Like, it was just not many wounds were a small amount of wounds were lost for all the blood crushers. So I was really afraid. So that was kind of, I mean, I kind of thought that Morathi was going to make it out of that. I thought that if I was really lucky, I was going to kill her, but she made it out of that fairly intact.
I had a couple really good saves.
But for me, of this entire game, the shocker, absolutely the thing that I was like, oh my god, that was crazy, was seeing the Slaughter Queen on the Cauldron of Blood just eat my Bloodthirster in one round of combat when I got the charge.
Yeah.
That was nuts. So, I mean, I got in there. I did good. We put 11 wounds on it. It was barely alive. It only had two wounds left. It was just wheels were hanging off it. Everyone was dead. It was almost alive. And then just whack! Just dead between the Slaughter Queen and the Avatar, who was alive.
Right. Fortunately, because I took the True Believer trait, which let it activate on turn 2, which all of the traits are pretty good. That one, if only for...
I think, like, if you're going to take...
An Avatar of Khaine.
An Avatar, yeah. So if you have avatars in your list, I don't know why you would always take that.
Yeah,
it's
especially
so
all of the getting to reroll ones on run and charge are nice.
Right.
But as soon as you hit turn 3 on the chart, it starts getting hits and wounds and then saves and immune to battle shock. And that's going to start on turn 2.
Yep.
Which is huge.
And all your avatars come alive on turn 2, and I charged him on turn 2. I was like, it's turn 2, I'm going to totally nail that thing. I was like, I've seen the chart, and I said, it's turn 2, he's not going to have many benefits. And then the statue's eyes came alive, and my Bloodthirster said, I have made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, no, if you had managed to kill the entire Cauldron of Blood in the one attack, which is completely viable.
Yeah, it's possible. I could have rolled hot and just nailed it.
But you didn't, and I got to strike back, and I got real lucky as well.
Right.
But because my army has so many rerolls, especially things like the Witch's Brew and the Blood Rite, getting to all those rerolls, especially with how I was rolling this game, I rolled a lot of ones, which I managed to save after the fact with rerolls. It really saved me.
So, I mean, from the point of view of luck on who's getting the initiative, I had this game. I was getting the initiative when I needed to. I was keeping Matt on the back foot, but Matt kept having those key moments where things just really went his way that were just decisive. So even though I, like, in a big picture wise, I was controlling where the battle was being fought, he was just winning the individual combats that mattered. And there's nothing I was just like, ugh.
I got real lucky a lot of times with my Drakespawn Knight not dying. That one guy staying alive got to kill him more. I think more than anything else, the MVP of this game is probably that one Witch Elf who managed to survive and hold off all of the Bloodletters
because she had
fighting up the middle.
Because she had the Witch Brew.
Because she had the Witch Brew and didn't run away,
so
all of those Bloodletters would have just hit my Dark Shards,
which
destroyed them all.
Right, and that was the plan, was these guys were supposed to just carve right on into his army, but they stalled and then time ran out, and I just had to run back to get that objective, because it would have been suicide to try. Well, I wouldn't have gotten that objective. He has two me guys back.
Yeah, I specifically pushed my Dark Shards up so you would hit that front line even if you wipe them all out, because there was no after combat consolidation.
Yep,
I knew you would not be able to reach the objective, which is what I was hoping for, but it didn't even need to.
But awesome game, Matt.
Very nice.
Awesome.
It was a fun one.
Thanks for watching, guys. We will catch you later.
See ya.
Don't forget to subscribe. Support us on Patreon. Thanks for watching.